Alright guys, today's video is probably one of the least planned type videos that I've made so far on the channel. Every other video on this channel thus far has been either something that was kind of pre-planned a while back, or just kind of thought out and then written, then like scripted and all that type of stuff. But this video is more so a reply to a question that I've kind of been seeing popping up a lot more. I don't want to say recently, it's kind of been around, but I just keep seeing this question kind of keep appearing, and I'm kind of surprised that it is. So I kind of wanted to address it. We're going to be talking about the main reasons as to why Naruto and Sasuke and the previous generation as a whole just seem not as powerful as they were previously showcased in the story. As always, be sure to leave a like and subscribe as well. Another thing that's going to be a little bit different for this specific video is how it's structured. Most of the videos on this channel have more of an in-story explanation as to why certain things are happening, but not really this time around. This time, the focus is primarily going to be kind of breaking the fourth wall in a sense as to explaining why the story has gotten to this point as we analyze, a little bit of story structure and writing for franchises that have existed for decades and why this pathway for Naruto and Sasuke was bound to happen. So, shonen stories such as Naruto have a linear and natural progression in terms of how characters tend to improve over time as real-time experiences actually occur on a timeline, contrary to many Western animated shows where episodes oftentimes are very situational and are essentially standalone events where we see characters experience a story, and then the next episode the characters essentially reset to their foundation and explore a new story, almost as if the previous story never happened. Western animated media also has a tendency to not have their characters age, choosing to maintain a foundation of how these characters are while placing said characters in different scenarios. But stories like Naruto aren't like that, unless it's some filler bullshit. Stories like Naruto tend to reflect the real world way more than many of the Western media animated shows do. Characters age, they have experiences that actually occur on a timeline, and there's actual legitimate consequences that don't just reset when the next episode or manga chapter occurs. But why does any of this matter? Well, it matters because when characters are in a medium that constitutes growth, they have to essentially, especially in shonen, they have to essentially keep going against more challenging antagonists. Otherwise, the conflict would become stale and not have nearly as much tension because the antagonists have to either match or exceed the power of the protagonist. For example, Land of Waves arc Zabuza is a great antagonist for the Land of Waves arc, but would be terrible for adult Naruto and Sasuke because both of these characters have far exceeded Zabuza's power level to the point where he or anyone at the power level of Land of Waves arc Zabuza would be easily demolished, therefore diminishing the level of intrigue among the story because there's no true challenging conflict. By the way, nothing that's been said here is earth-shattering stuff, right? It's pretty standard storytelling, and all this would be fine if Naruto and Sasuke were still the main protagonists of their stories, but as we all know, they aren't. And at this point of Boruto 2 Blue Vortex, the one thing everyone has to get to terms with is that Naruto and Sasuke are not the main characters anymore. And because of that, and their extremely heightened power levels, it made the story of Boruto difficult to take seriously early on because Boruto never really had any real stakes to take care of himself because any serious threat would usually just be handled by those two, and therefore removing Boruto of much needed character development and overall focus that's required for protagonists to have. This is one of the main reasons why Minato had to be dead or at least sidelined from Naruto's original story to be truly maximized like it was. If Minato were alive in the Hokage, it would have been difficult for all of the iconic and significant events that occurred throughout Naruto's life to then be as important because most of those threats would have been taken care of by Minato. Think about it, right? Think of the Sasuke retrieval arc, for example, right? Like that arc is one of the most compelling arcs in all of Naruto. But if Minato were alive, well, they wouldn't have had to have any of those Genin Shinobi go out and try to save Sasuke at all. Sasuke would have just easily been defeated by Minato, brought back to the village, and then that's that. it's done. You know what I mean? It just takes out all the levels of intrigue and storytelling and conflict that was necessary for those characters at that moment in time. And Boruto's story had a dilemma, and that dilemma could be only solved in a few ways. Either severely weaken Naruto and Sasuke. That way, every threat is not severely outmatched by the shinobi, which would in turn make Boruto a viable option to actually help. 2, overpower every antagonist. That way, even at their advanced power levels, Naruto and Sasuke would still have a challenge. Or 3, get them out of the story entirely. That way, Boruto and whatever leftover allies he would then have to figure out a way to solve those problems themselves. And the Boruto manga has honestly tried all 3 of these methods. Introducing more overpowered antagonists such as the Otsutsuki clan was the first method. The next method was nerfing both Naruto and Sasuke, such as like when Naruto lost Kurama or when Sasuke lost the Rinnegan. And the last was temporarily removing these shinobi from the story, kind of like what we're dealing with right now. Sasuke is currently unconscious as a tree and being utilized as an Otsutsuki variant, and Naruto's unconscious as well. Are they gonna get killed off at some point? Well, who knows? We all just have to wait and see. Anyways, thanks again guys for watching this. As stated before, be sure to leave a like and subscribe as well. Be well, take care.